bank earnings absolutely did what we expected, right? We've already changed our viewpoints, revised down, and they come out with a bit of a beat, which we're going to talk about in depth today, and what this means for equities, the Nasdaq, S&P 500, SPY specifically, in Qs, right? The big boys, where we love to trade our money. But now moving into the beginning of the day, we had a little bit of a surprise, a hiccup, you know, a little itch in the throat, if you will. It was moving into what would happen with Michigan reports and expectations, right? But I let you know on Twitter, I let you know my thoughts. What did I say, right? I was wrong for a little bit. I will say that I admitted initial reaction was wrong, but I told you what I was doing. We knew what to expect. We talked about it yesterday. We talked about where to get bearish. We're going to talk about the next steps coming into this major week with Tesla earnings, Netflix earnings, and a lot more banks. Let's get to it. First of all, out of the gate, I want to talk about JP Morgan, probably one of the top dog head honchos, big pit bulls, if you will, barking out of the gate. What did it do with the expectations and earnings? So we had revenue expectations, estimations at 36 billion, smashed, destroyed, finito, 36 bill into 54 actual, EPS 3.41 into actual of 4.1, an absolute smash across the board. Again, investment banks, this is your warning. This is your sign. This is strength right now. But Jamie Dimon had a bit to say. The next one I want to talk about is Citigroup. A little bit on the other side of what's happening, you know, investment fund as well as, you know, straight to consumer. Okay. We look at what's happening there. What about their earnings? Big old beat on the day as well. Estimations, as you can see here, 20.08. Coming out hot, 86% beat, people. You know, everyone else is screaming turmoil, pain. You guard your money, put it under your mattress. Do you make money under your mattress? That's the real question. I'm not trying to sell you nothing. I'm trying to tell you the truth. Do you make money under your mattress? Does scared money make money? Now, I will agree. Cash is a position. It's a great position. We talk about patience here a lot. But when we look at these estimations, maybe the best time to buy is when they're afraid. Maybe that's the best time to strike. And I get it. I'm not saying that I'm the oracle from the Matrix, right? I'm not telling you your future, Neo, but I am going to tell you something, right? The writing has been on the walls. If we continue to reduce expectations, this was the same song we sang last year, and we know how that ended up, right? Continue to beat. And that's what's happening with these banks right now. Riddle me this. You got Allen Iverson taking the step back shot right over Tai Lu. I mean, is it really that impressive? What did you expect Tai Lu to do? Now, before we jump into any more content, I have to ask you to do two things. Consider liking, consider subscribing every single day. As you can see, I do not miss a day, right? This is the life. This is the air that I breathe. Work in the stock market. I go to sleep. I may make some sweet love, but at the end of the night, do you know what the last thing in my mind is? Where the hell the Nasdaq's going to go when I wake up and open my eyes? That's the last thing on my mind. You want someone that lives and breathes this, right? I live by the sword. I die by the sword. I tell you, if I win, I lose, I draw. You've been here on the channel. You know what I'm playing. You know what I'm liking. You tell me the results. You tell me what you're seeing, okay? I don't know what else to say, right? Win, lose, draw, unbiased opinions every single day. I tell you what I'm expecting, and this is what I'm looking at right now. Also, too, big update. Right now, if you don't know, we've been doing a lot of short form content on Instagram. The link is down below. We're doing a major giveaway. Okay, so to let you know, since we hit 45,000, which was like 2 weeks ago, we're going to do this. So we're doing another one at 50K as well. But right now, at 45K, it'll probably be a few months before we hit 50K. We're getting an annual subscription to Discord, a whole year. Okay, that's about $700 worth of money right there. Number two, you're going to get an LG ultra wide monitor. It's around $250. It's 32 inches. And then we're going to do a number three, right? This is all for one person, right? And right now we only have 50 people in there, right? So you have like a 2% chance of winning right now, which is really high on a raffle, right? And then number two, we're going to give you $100 cash just because, cash is king, people. And it's the best position to have sometimes when it comes to the market. Hop back into the market. I want to just talk about a few things I think we need to be watching for. And I think we may be overlooking, to say the least. Okay, so when we zoom out here, and we're gonna get a real quick look at the day. Basically, you opened up, you had a great push up to highs, you broke out of that key level like 13.25, you came back down. But it's interesting where we're holding, because if you're watching these videos, then you're getting a better viewpoint. Because when we really take the time and look at this chart, you're holding right at the level, right? 12.95. Then you go up a little bit more and you're holding right at the ceiling. The ceiling is the roof, right? You're holding right there at 13.1. The major levels we've been discussing. Now, what I want to say before again, you're going to hear me say this every day because everyone tries to come on the channel like, Tyler, look, you're bullish, Tyler. You're unbiased. You're clearly biased, right? You're not unbiased. Okay. I'm going to tell you for the last time, Timmy. Okay. If you break below February highs right here above my head, yeah, that level right there. If you break it, you're bearish. You expect downside, okay? But until you make a lower low on higher time frames, such as the daily, the weekly, the monthly, what is the trend, people? You know the drill. You already know what I'm going to say. Because when we zoom out, no one can deny the fact of what's happening. You're clearly trending to the upside. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Over and over and over and over. And all we do is mount previous highs. And that's what we're doing now. And if you've been counter trending this, then I got one thing to say. And it's, I'm sorry for your loss because that's all you've been doing. Okay. It's not about being cocky. It's not about being conceited. It's about having confidence in what we're looking at within our trades. Because if you don't have confidence in how you're trading, if you don't have confidence where you're putting thousands of dollars, where you're investing your money, where you're trying to trade, then do you have you have to ask yourself, do you actually have a strategy at that point? Or are you just gambling? Are you just being a degenerate? Like, what are you actually doing at that point if you're just going into the market and you don't have extreme confidence behind positions? If you're entering a play in the market, I don't care if it's just stock, I don't care if it's a YOLO, you should have confidence in what you're doing. Right? And that's what I try to do. I try to practice what I preach, right? And so as long as you're above that, you expect a bounce. That's why I told you a day, was it yesterday? It might have been yesterday. I think it was. We talked about the icebergs, the major orders that were coming all down. You know, it was the day before that, right? We were sitting at lows. Everyone's like, Tyler, you're going to nosedive. You're going to nosedive. Guess what happened? PPIB, like expected. Then we had a crazy reaction from that 12.95. Job numbers did well. And then to top it off, cherry on the Sunday, drizzle it with fudge, you get the bank earnings. I mean, guys, I'm trying not to get too excited, but this is what it feels like when you get a little bit bullish on the market, right? Because when you get into the market to where you're actually trending as bullish, when you start to make higher highs and continue to make higher lows, it's probably the easiest time to trade, right? Now, does that mean to over leverage? Does that mean to just throw money at the market? No, that's not what it means. It's not what it means. I tell everyone to practice patience, play the breakout. Don't short the resistance, short the retest of the resistance, right? You want to play when you break out, retest, push, right? That's what you're looking for. That's what we want to see. And guys, I'm going to tell you right now, just show you real quick, what are we looking for today? What were we looking for in the Discord? I like to practice what I preach. Okay. First of all, out of the rip, went long on NVIDIA, right? I got some stock. And then I also mentioned, if I always do this when I mention stock, I like to mention an option that coincides with that play. Now, I like right now shorter dated contracts. I've been saying it, get in, make your money, get out. 3.8 were these contracts at 270s. Go check 845. They might have been up. Look, they were moving quick. So I'll give you benefit of the doubt. I'll go up to $4. I'll give you actually a 7% worse entry than when I got in. And these things ended up running within the hour over to 505. Within 30 minutes, people, within 30 minutes, these contracts went crazy. No reason, right? Boom, boom, boom. The writing was on the wall. What about Jay, my partner in crime, right? It's just toss-ups for us. We're just toss-ups. Just soft toss right now for us. Boom, Jay Ream, end of the day. He's like, you know what? You just woke up the beast, right? He wakes up this morning. Boom. He's hammering Qs. He's going long in the day. He's seeing the strength. Boom. They're all going. They're all running. That's what's happening today. Gains and losses. What's happening here today? 45%. What about this guy? Didn't even put a percent, but guess what? $2,000. Another guy sold UVXY calls as we speak. Base hitting at 600, 400, etc. Right? That's what's happening. That's not even into the scalp trade ideas today, right? We had NVIDIA off the bottom. We had NVIDIA. We shorted it down. Back and forth we go. The trades are there. The setups are there. This is exactly what we wanted to see. Exactly how we were playing it out, guys, right? Again, what did I say too? And again, I'm going a little bit off tangent. I'm going to go a little bit off tangent, but I love what I do. I love my job. I love it. I love it. I love it. You don't follow on Twitter, I don't really know what to tell you, right? Look at what happened. Out of the gate, what happened? Advance to highs, looking fantastic. Tip of the spear. I did say, in the beginning, we didn't get the massive rally that we wanted. But what did I say pretty quick though, right? You got your consumer sentiment. I said it's causing a pullback, but I'm not concerned, right? I'm still bullish. Why? Because you're holding over every level we've been mentioning. So going into this week, what do we want to look at? Beginning of this week, we're going to have a few things. Stay with me. We're going to have some earnings to start the week off. We have Charles Schwab, which I'm a big fan of these guys, but I haven't started buying it. If this earnings goes bad, that's when I'm probably look to starting my position. It's like kind of like catch-22 position. I would love for them to do more. I want to be really greedy when it comes to banks. Number two, this is when things start to spice up. Tuesday morning, Bank of America, big earnings. I want to see what's happening with these big consumer banks as well. Okay, Goldman Sachs, Johnson & Johnson, LMT. We're going to have a lot of Dow stocks this week as well. And then we have Netflix after hours coming into Tuesday. Monster. This is going to be a big day. And I actually think Netflix has room. I think Netflix is killing it. They're doing very good. And we're going to get an update on what's happening with their subscriber tiers, okay? Tesla, Wednesday, very big. TSM, Thursday. So you can start to see earnings season. It's here, boys. It's here, ladies and gents. We are here finally. More action. And I know everyone's been saying, Tyler, remember they said at this beginning of the week, Tyler, bank earnings are going to be bad. Bank earnings are going to be bad. And it's like we continue to just tell ourselves the same thing over and over. Like we can convince somebody. When you're looking at trading, guys, you don't need to convince yourself. Your due diligence and your work ethic should convince you already doing it. You should be trying to convince yourself that the play will not work so you can find flaws in your strategy, right? That's actively what I try to do. So if I like Charles Schwab, what am I doing? I'm going to wait till earnings before I start buying stock or equity on them. They're already so low. Worst case scenario, they have great earnings and I buy a little bit after earnings and start riding them back up because we're already down so much. If they drop a little bit more, I'm being greedy. Guess what? If banks start to actually get hit again, which could possibly happen, I'll be in at a lower price. I'll have less risk on the table. And I'm still in a great name, probably one of the best trading firms that's out there. When you look at the book and how much they actually have on hand and how much they're actually valued at. Now, before you let you out of here, I'm going to hop in and look at the order flow. We're going to look at what's happening with options, but also what's happening here on Bookmap. And we love Bookmap. The link is down below. It's like level 2 data visualized so you can see what's happening on the book, but it has some really big orders when it comes to ICs, okay? Now, all day long was very stagnant. Nothing really happening here on ICs, very minimal, right? And this describes why today was very slow. Now, I will say Fridays typically are slower days. They are. We know this, right? Just from the past, okay? But what happens here at the end of the day? What happens at the end of the week? What happens? Who shows up again, right? Yesterday, we didn't get a lot of selling. We didn't get a lot of concern there. What happened today? Nothing really happening. Small order. End of the day. Boom. Shakalaka. You're pushing up. You're getting buy orders, about 1,500, 1,600 lots here at the end of the day. Big buyers. All day long also, you were seeing big buyers on Qs coming in near lows on the day. They were hammering big orders. We were actually going over that live as well here on the channel, right? We were talking about everything that was happening there. If you were live, we're live here every day, 10:30 a.m. Central, Monday through Friday. We're going over the stock market, trades we're liking, answering questions as well, doing some education, 100% free. You don't have to pay for anything like that, okay? So understand, you're continuing to see large buyers again and again and again, especially when there's signs of weakness. Now, I want to just take you through one more thing. I want to take you through one more thing as well. When we look over here at volume, just really quick, I want to go to SPY and just show you this volume, as you can see. And today, I would say was primarily an attempt to sell, to short down. Now, your average 30-day volume is 99 million roughly on SPY. Once again, you come down lower than pretty expected, right? Right? We've had two pretty decent days on the bouncing where we're moving up, or higher, heavy buys. We can agree, in my opinion, that this is sell side, right? This is buy side action, okay? Right? You open up 409, you end the day at 413, you open up at 411, you push up to 412, come back down, and then you push back and close up, okay? You go look back at those days, right? Wednesday, I'll argue and say it was a little bit of sell side, but it was a very good show of strength from buyers to where they held you at. Now today, right, I think we had some buying in the morning and we had a lot of sell side until the end of the day, and it was finished off by buyers. They marked their territory. They stamped it like a dog in his front yard, right? But again, with the day primarily led by selling, you continue to see overall low volume, right? Again, we don't need high volume to push us in a crazy direction. You don't necessarily need that. But what you do need, and it's typically a sign of a reversal, is higher volume, which again, we continue to not see. The last thing we're gonna mention is gonna be going into what's happening here with, the order flow. SPY, right? SPY. Going into premium, we're going to highest premium, biggest orders on the day. Not too much, guys. Short dated contract for next week. It's call side. That's a bullish short if I've ever seen one. Might be closed by here at the end of the day. We'll see. QQQ. You have a kind of a bearish position here, but there's not too much. Very, very minuscule. If you've been here on the channel, you understand. We usually get a lot more than this, right? IWM, it's been probably the most bearish chain we look at. You have some orders, small orders though, not very big, right? VIX at lows as well, not doing too much. You have one big order coming here near the end of the day. But what I want to say here, and I want to just warn some individuals, okay? It's going to be April's monthly option close, okay? So if you look at chains specifically, the time you typically get the best action, the most open interest, is the monthly contracts, okay? So for April, it's April 21st, right? The flow specifically for April has been notoriously bullish since basically February. The option flow has shifted, and it's been this way for a while. Shout out Cajun in Discord. He's been murdering it. Thank you for bringing this to our attention, okay? When you look at this, I think this is a major, major caution sign, okay? I'd be very slow and steady if I was looking at it from a bearish lens. Is it possible to drop? It is. It is. However, right now, everything's pointing to more continuation. Even despite the bad news from Michigan sentiment and inflation reports, we continue to rally. We continue to go. We continue to churn. And that's how we're moving now. Now, before we get out of here, the last things you need to understand is one, we're only bearish if we get below 12.95. Until then, you have no reason to be hammering shorts unless you're scalping. If you're scalping, it makes sense. I get it, right? You're trying to get in and get out. But that's the only real reason if you're trying to go short right now. Okay. From a swing trader perspective, 12.95, that's the only time you can go short if you break below that. Now, even if you're scalping though, you need it. You're holding this on 13.1 on Nasdaq, and you defended it all day despite the selling pressure. Okay. That's that. Big things we're looking for coming into this week. The 4,200 test on ES, SPY futures. SPY has been consolidating. It hasn't been running compared to the Nasdaq, and I think SPY has room. Combined with Apple trying to break out of this massive pennant we've been talking about, right? Those are some very big factors we need to be considering. We need to be bracing ourselves. Tuck your shirts in to probably to your underwear, because this might knock your socks off, okay? So that's what we need to be watching. 4,200 on ES. Nasdaq already. You're at 13.2. I think you're going to get the momentum into the beginning of the week to push you up a little bit higher, right? Short term, 13.3, 13.35, but we're really looking for a push into 13.7 as our goal. And if ES gets that break above 4,200, I think it's all eyes on Nasdaq to 13.7. That's the major level. That's what's going back, all the way to be, I want to be exact so you know. Yeah, to Jackson Hole back in August, right? That was the day. That was like the hammer, if you will. I believe that was Jackson Hole. I could be wrong, but I'm almost like 99% sure that was Jackson Hole. That's the big day. But this level is notorious. And if you get above it, the 13.7 range on Nasdaq, we're in business, boys. We're in business, and the market looks, one word I can equate it to. It looks dangerous. It looks fucking dangerous, boys.